Hello, this is Lee Cooper, and this is my personal introduction video for EDL 850 School Law. So a little bit about me. I grew up in Buena Vista, Colorado. I have a Bachelor of Science in Mathematics, secondary teaching from the University of Northern Colorado. I do have a minor in theater arts. I currently teach 6th grade mathematics. I am married, and my future plans are we hope to start a family real soon, and in the next couple years, within the next 5 years, to become an administrator. Okay. There's my dogs up there too. They're pretty sweet. Moving forward, where I work. So I work in Denver, Colorado. I work for a chain of schools called Strive Preparatory Schools. So it's a chain of 11 schools serving around 3,700 students. Most of our students, so just to kind of give like a quick population breakdown, 87% on free reduced lunch. So a good portion of them are low income. 97% students of color. 49% English language learners, and then most of our students are Hispanic. I do teach an ELD course because a lot of our students, again, 49% are English language learners. So because there's such a high demand, even though I'm a math teacher, I do have to teach English language development. So yeah, that's just one of my duties. We have 2 promises within our network and at our school. So your child will be safe, and your child will be ready for the challenges of college if they choose to attend. All right, so moving forward, reflection of school law at Strive Prep Lake. So how do we actually show that we're doing school law, or how are we, that's a weird way to say that, how are we actually conforming to the law and like making sure that that's happening? So again, we have a huge English language population, and so there was an English language acquisition and consent decree that happened in Denver. So as a result of being sued several times, Denver Public Schools has now required that they provide better English language acquisition courses, so English language development courses for students. It's also a requirement, so as part of working in Denver Public Schools, I do have to get an English language acquisition certificate for Denver Public Schools. So I've had to go through 2 years now of training. I had to submit a portfolio, and this is something that every teacher has to do in order to make sure that we have teachers who are, are able to teach in a way that is culturally and linguistically diverse for their students and helping them to acquire English language. So again, this is coming off of an issue that kind of happened where the school was getting sued because they were not serving the English language learners. We also have like a really robust MTSS program, our system, where we have a lot of special services. We definitely provide a lot of accommodations within the classroom, as said by IEPs and behavioral intervention plans. So that happens a lot at our school, and teachers definitely adhere to that. So that's a huge part of it. The READ Act is a Colorado thing that if a student is significantly below grade level, they have to have a plan. Now that's something that's actually changing, which I'll get to when I talk a little bit more about like what am I trying to learn. But basically, if students are really below grade level in reading, they have to have a specific plan for them. We have to meet with parents and like talk about what are the things that we can do to get your student on grade level with their reading. Attendance is a really big thing in our school because we have a ton of students who miss a lot of school, and so we definitely have to go through the proper channels of making sure that we're logging the correct attendance and being able to go through like, the truancy, legality, those kinds of things, right? So that's something that's we face a lot at our school. There's a lot of attendance issues. Behavior issues, another huge thing. We have very high behavioral issues at our school, which includes a lot of ISS, OSS, and being able to log those correctly, and how does that fit into like a larger picture. So that's, again, something that our school sees a lot. And then as a charter school, sorry, that'll go away in a second. We have a little bit of a difference as a charter school because the teacher and admin qualification is different than what is going to be at a public school, right? So to be a teacher at the school, you do not actually have to have a teaching license. You just have to be highly qualified, so pass like a praxis, those types of things. But you don't have to have a teaching license. Same thing for administration. You don't have to have your administrative degree. You don't even have to have a master's degree to be an administrator, although it is like something that's preferred. So yeah, there's some differences there that the charter school kind of operates as opposed to the regular public school. Okay, so what do I know about school law? Well, I mean, I basically just know my scope as a teacher, so, and that kind of is related mostly to student services. Like, what is it that we have to provide students by law? So again, going back to the English language development, going back to MTSS, the READ Act, like, so kind of just like my scope of what I have. I don't actually know much as far as big picture goes. It's something that I'm trying to learn more about. And I do know that education in Colorado, though, is mostly bipartisan. So both sides really do try to work together in order to make laws that are in the best interest of students and education. We are very well funded in Colorado, especially in Denver, so those are all good things. Again, though, I don't have a lot of know as far as big picture, which might be coming across as I talk about it now. So, all right. So, but what is my action plan to learn? So there's a thing called Chalkbeat in Denver. In Colorado, and it's a. Let me get this right. So it's a daily newsletter, and it is in several states. They do national education as well as education specific to a state that it is. I think it's only about 4 or 5 states though, and one of them is Colorado. So I actually have learned quite a bit just by being able to read that, and it's something that I kind of unlike the daily newsletter, and I try to check out like what's going on in the news. And part of that is the Colorado General Assembly and the 2018 session that's been going on in the Capitol. So it started in January. It will end in May, and they're currently within conversations and discussions about where it is, the laws that we are trying to come up with, and particularly trying to focus on how is that affecting education. So I have been able to learn a few things about that. For instance, with a big one is where is money needing to go to, and a lot of people within education are saying that transportation is the biggest thing, that we need to really up our transportation needs. And other people are saying we really need to up our infrastructure as far as internet goes within rural areas. So there's kind of some debate around that, but it's been really interesting to try to stay on top of it. I also plan to learn more just by my full engagement in this course. I'm really excited to learn more about school law because it's something I don't know a lot about, and I know something that's going to be very pertinent to know about in order to be successful. How I also want to do that is to focus on facts, not narrative. So, when it comes to things like DACA and immigration, our school tends to be very left-leaning in issues like that. Like when there was even a hint that DACA might be going away, I think we sent home, I got about 5 emails. We sent home 2 letters. It was the world is falling apart and things are, right? When really it's kind of a reaction to a tweet. And I think that that's happening a lot, but it's definitely something that happens at our school. So, I want to be able to focus on the facts and not a narrative that people are pushing. So, as much as I can do that and just be objective about things and not try to be pushed into any kind of political side or into, pulled in through emotions and those kinds of things, which not that those are, illegitimate, but I think when it comes to things like law, you gotta, what are the facts? So that's where I gotta focus. And again, right, avoiding those polarizing politics that have become much more prominent. Actually before I made this, because I made this a while back, I thought this class was in January. I wasn't even thinking about things like gun laws and those kinds of stuff, but yeah, I mean, that's obviously something that's a big issue right now. And again, I don't want to try to be polarizing. I don't want to try to pick sides or those kinds of things or, fall into any one narrative, but it's what are the actual objective facts that we can look at and can make decisions on. So that's kind of my goal moving forward. And I'm really excited to learn more in this class. So thank you very much.